What's up everyone, how are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Naruto was framed by the elders and returned as the Shinobi of vengeance? If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. And also check the description to original creator of this beautiful creation. Uzumaki Naruto, a young boy of around 6 years of age, was highly unusual for a child his age. He was a blonde kid with one very unusual facial feature different from any normal person: his whisker marks. It was obvious that those whisker marks was the cause of his nightly runs from the villagers. Every night that Naruto is out his house, he somehow always ended up having the villagers chase him. The villagers would join together to run after Naruto, and attack him if he was caught. That had happened a lot when Naruto was younger, but the near nightly runs had built up his stamina and speed to an impressive amount for his age. That, along with his ability of a photographic memory to memorize the village alleys and shortcuts, allowed Naruto to escape the beatings he would receive. Naruto was a very lonely child with only 2 people to ever visit him. The Hokage Sandaime and Kakashi Hitaki were the only people who would take care of the child. Naruto would always look forward to these visits from his only 2 feet guardians. Sarutobi, the Hokage, would come and teach Naruto anything necessary for a young child, including reading and writing. Kakashi, on the other hand, would explain about ninjutsu, taijutsu, and genjutsu. Kakashi also taught Naruto about chakra and other beginner-level jutsus. One night, Naruto was seen running away from the villagers again. It was clear that Naruto had the advantage, as he skillfully navigated through the alleys, until strangely he ran into a dead end. Naruto turned around quickly and faced his pursuers in both fear and anger. "Why do you keep chasing me?" questioned Naruto. "I've never done anything to you." The villagers were surprised because for the years that they have chased Naruto, he had never spoken to them. One of the villagers came up and punched Naruto hard in the stomach. "Shut up!" screamed the person who punched Naruto. "You know what you've done, you monster." "I'm no monster. I'm just Naruto," said Naruto slowly as he stood up painfully. "But since you keep calling me a monster, one day I'll have my revenge against you people. I'll return the pain you gave me more painfully to you." A long gray-haired ninja, who had listened to the entire conversation, jumped down from the rooftop and landed in between the angry villagers and Naruto. "Stop the fighting. You know what the Hokage had commanded. No one is to harm this child." The villagers, after hearing the ninja's words, angrily left, leaving Naruto alone with his savior. "You're Naruto-kun, aren't you?" "My name is Mizuki," announced the ninja. "Are you truly going to harm the people who attacked you before?" "I'll get my revenge," Naruto replied with a dark look on his young face. "In that case, I might be able to help you." "How?" asked Naruto. "There's a scroll in the Hokage's tower that teaches you jutsus that can help you. You'll recognize it right away. It's a really big scroll called the Scroll of Seals. Make sure no one notices you. Come back home after you're done. I'll meet with you back here." Naruto ran to the Hokage tower, leaving Mizuki standing alone in the alley. A smile is shown on Mizuki as he dispelled the genjutsu of the dead end he had cast. Naruto sneaked around inside the Hokage's tower until he found a room with a lot of scrolls in it. After he had quickly scanned the room, he noticed a scroll around his height. "How am I supposed to carry that?" asked Naruto to no one in particular. A solution to his current problem appeared as he searched his pockets. Naruto took out a pen and paper and opened the scroll. He started copying down the first jutsu, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Right after he had finished copying the first jutsu and was about to copy the second, he heard someone ask him what he was doing. Naruto put the piece of paper and the pen in his pockets and turned around. The third Hokage, dressed in his sleeping gown, stared at Naruto in the doorway to the room. From the Hokage's angle, it appeared that all Naruto had done was read the scroll. "I'm going to leave Konoha and become more powerful. I thought I could find something here that I could bring along with me," answered Naruto honestly. "Naruto, it's not safe outside the village. Besides, you're so young and inexperienced," the Hokage said as he attempted to change Naruto's mind. "I don't care. I hate this village," yelled Naruto stubbornly. The Sandaime sighed as he realized that he couldn't change Naruto's mind no matter how much he tried. "You're as stubborn as your father, Naruto. You may leave, but just remember, in case you ever change your mind, there's some people here that will always welcome you." Naruto smiled as he heard that and thanked the Hokage. He walked out of the room and was about to exit the tower when the Hokage called him again. The Hokage handed Naruto a scroll. "This is a scroll your mother told me to give to you when you grow up more. But tonight might be the last time I ever see you again, so take it with you." "What is it?" asked Naruto curiously. "Remember what Kakashi told you about bloodlines? Well, this scroll explains about the Uzumaki family bloodline. You are the only heir left in your family, so you must take care to learn what's in this scroll." Naruto attempted to open the scroll and saw that it was impossible. The Hokage saw what Naruto tried to do and said that the scroll could only be opened by an Uzumaki when their bloodline ability has shown signs of being activated. Naruto once again thanked the third Hokage and walked toward his house with the Kage Bunshin Jutsu in his pockets. Mizuki appeared to be walking impatiently outside of Naruto's home. He paced back and forth on the street with two giant shurikens tied to his back. His frantic actions caught the attention of Naruto when he walked near to his house. Naruto stood still from a block away and watched Mizuki silently, as he wondered why Mizuki would be carrying weapons for a simple thing as getting a scroll. "Where is that kid?" yelled Mizuki. He was lucky that no one lived close enough to Naruto to hear him say his next few words. No one, but Naruto himself. "How long does it take to steal a forbidden scroll? And I had to go through the trouble of placing genjutsu in the alleyway to stop the kid." Naruto stared in shock as he listened to Mizuki's ranting. He had finally realized that Mizuki was the one who created the illusion which caused the pain he received a few hours earlier. The purpose was to have Mizuki appear as the hero and convince Naruto to help him steal the forbidden scroll. Naruto ran to the village exit when Mizuki happened to turn around and see him. Mizuki chased Naruto out of the village and into the surrounding forest. Deep in the forest, Mizuki caught up to Naruto and attacked him, demanding for the scroll of seals. Mizuki took one of his giant shurikens and threw it at Naruto. That one attack would have ended the child's life if he hadn't tripped on a protruding tree root. The shuriken missed Naruto and sliced the branches off the top of nearby trees. Wild animals appeared from other parts of the forest, angry at the two people for waking them up. The animals split into two groups and attacked the two separately. That was until Mizuki escaped and went back to Konoha. Once Mizuki ran away, every animal's attention was directed at the young boy who lay helplessly on the ground. Naruto's last thoughts before sinking into unconsciousness were revenge. Revenge against the villagers, against Mizuki, against Konoha. The wild animals circled an unconscious young boy, with a hungry look in their eyes. A man in a big cloak jumped down and snatched the child from the ground as the animals were about to pounce. The man carried Naruto away and set up camp right outside the forest. The man looked over the child he rescued and saw in surprise as he recognized him. "Uzumaki Naruto, the vessel of Kyuubi, my mission was to capture you. I guess my job is done before I even reached Konoha." Naruto, still unconscious, heard the name Konoha and began talking about getting revenge on the village. The man stared at Naruto and smiled. So he wants revenge. This might prove to help the Akatsuki. The next morning, Naruto woke up and noticed that he was still alive and unharmed. He also noticed a man staring at him. "Who are you? Are you the one who saved me?" asked Naruto. "My name is Uchiha Itachi. I'm taking you away from you village for now." Naruto smiled happily. "Yay, where are we going? Follow me, but first put these on." Itachi gave Naruto a new set of dark-colored clothes. "Why? What's wrong with the ones I'm wearing?" asked Naruto. Itachi smirked a little before he answered. "First of all, your clothes are too bright. I don't like fighting every single idiot who decides to attack a kid. Second of all, the clothes you're wearing, if you haven't noticed, are ripped." Naruto stared down at himself and remembered that his clothes got a bit destroyed by the wild animal's attack. Itachi turned away while Naruto changed into the separate set clothes. "Itachi-san, why are these clothes so heavy? I can't move with these on." "Calm down, Naruto-kun. Those are the only set of clothes I carried along with me. Normally I wouldn't even have clothes so small, but I was expecting you. Also, you want to get stronger, don't you? Wearing lots of heavy clothes will improve your stamina, speed, and strength a lot faster than simple training." Naruto smiled faintly at that, and he starts walking slowly. "I think I could manage if you walk slower." The two travelers walked at an even pace, until Itachi had a visitor one night. Itachi, after getting Naruto asleep, sensed an enormous amount of chakra. What is it, Kisame? Asked Itachi to the man who was behind him. Kisame, a powerful man whose face bears a resemblance to a shark and has a huge chakra-absorbing sword, revealed himself. How did you know it was me? I'm not sure, must be that fish smell around you, Itachi said laughing. Kisame laughed loudly with Itachi, I don't smell. Well, truth is, only an S-class missing nin will have chakra as high as yours. Also, among all the S-class nins, you're the only one who goes and finds me. So, let's get down to business. Why are you here? The Akatsuki wants to know about the boy you were sent out to capture. I see you were successful, but now the question is, what should we do with him? Itachi smiled happily, no problems there, he came along peacefully. It seems like Konoha has been treating him pretty harshly. He appears to have obtained a sense of hatred toward the village. That's good, though what should we do with him for now? The Akatsuki still wants to use the Kyuubi's power. Don't worry, tell them that I'll be leaving him with a couple of people I know. They'll teach him everything he needs to know. Also, since they travel a lot, Naruto will be able to obtain a wide variety of jutsus. I'll also be teaching a couple of stuff. Not to mention I've already been preparing him for my plan. Tell the Akatsuki to not interfere if they want the Kyuubi's powers. As you wish, Itachi. Kisame vanished in a puff of smoke. The next day, Itachi and Naruto finally arrived at a village. Naruto-kun, this is where we will part. What? Why? Where are you going? Asked Naruto frantically. I've got some business to take care of. I'm leaving you with a clan I know. I want you to learn all you can from them, and since they wander throughout the world, I want you to learn every jutsu you can. Also, I'll give you something as a parting gift. Naruto looked up hopefully, then his hope fell as he saw the gift. More weights? But I already have these. You're moving normally with those already, now I'm doubling the weights you have on right now. Itachi said while he started to replace the weights in the pockets of Naruto's clothes. Don't worry, it's just 60 pounds now. Itachi-san, will I ever see you again? Naruto asked hopefully. These few days has been the best for me. You don't mind if I be your adopted brother, do you? Sure, from now on, you're my little brother. And don't worry, we'll see each other again. I'll visit you from time to time. Make sure you change the weights every once in a while. Come along, I'll buy you a meal. I know you don't like eating those canned foods we had during our trip here. Itachi brought Naruto to a nearby ramen stand and ordered ramen for the both of them. Itachi slowly ate his ramen as he thought about his other brother, Sasuke. Naruto, on the other hand, once he had his first bite of ramen, quickly ate the rest of his ramen and ordered bowl after bowl of every type of ramen in the stand. Itachi, after getting over his thoughts, stared at Naruto in shock as he finished his 13th bowl of ramen. God damn, where does he put all that food? Thought Itachi in surprise. Good thing I save all my money. Naruto finished eating and patted his stomach happily. I'm all done, Itachi-Nisan. Then off to find the Shadow Clan. Itachi paid the bill and left with Naruto. Shadow Clan? Questioned Naruto. The leader of the clan will explain when we get there. After a few hours of searching, they finally found the hotel that the Shadow Clan was staying in. Stay out here, Naruto, while I go and explain some stuff. Itachi went inside and found Hatame Shadow, the leader of the Shadow Clan. He explained to Hatame about Naruto and about the Kyuubi inside him. He asked Hatame to take care of Naruto until he is 12. Don't worry, my friend, you helped us in the past, so this is our chance to repay the debt. I'll be sure to teach him all the Shadow Clan's techniques and help him in any other jutsu he wants to learn. Thank you. Let's go down now, and you tell Naruto all about your clan. The two people went outside and found Naruto practicing a jutsu. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, yelled Naruto. 5 Narutos appeared in a puff of smoke and Naruto cheered happily. I did it. I finally used this technique. Itachi and Hatame walked up to Naruto. Naruto, when did you learn this technique? How did you get it anyway? Hatame was wondering the exact same thing. Itachi-Nisan, did you see me? I finally found the jutsu I copied back in Konoha. I forgot I had it until I looked through my old clothes. Good thing you didn't throw them out, brother. Itachi and Hatame stared in shock that this young child, barely 7, had used a Junin-level jutsu. Not to mention that he had created a total of 5 clones and wasn't completely exhausted yet. Itachi-san, you have just handed me a great treasure. This child may one day become one of the top-ranked shinobis in the world, thought Hatame. Itachi gestured Naruto to follow him into the hotel. Inside the hotel, Itachi left after telling Naruto that he'll visit him from time to time. Hatame called the rest of the members of the Shadow Clan to the lobby. After waiting a few minutes, 4 girls, 5 boys, 5 men, and 5 women came to meet Hatame. Naruto, these are the members of my clan. The 4 girls are Kairani, Hantina, Ayana, and Murama from left to right. The 5 boys are Inode, Merrick, Honame, Gao, and Mahu from left to right. The 5 men are Unaki, Jimai, Tairu, Yormu, and Kyle from left to right. The 5 women are Ganua, Train, Kalana, Mata, and Hami from left to right. You got it? Naruto nodded his head. Okay. All the adults are Junins and of the children only Hantina, Merrick, and Mahu are Genin. Understand? Asked Hatame. Naruto once again nodded his head. Okay, on with our clan's history. Our clan used to have more members than this. We originated from Konoha and were known as the Shadow Nara clan. But the Shadow family wanted to explore the world, while the Nara family just wanted to lay back and enjoy life. Because of this, the clan separated into the Shadow clan and the Nara clan. Both of the clans' techniques deal with shadows, but over the years, our jutsus have slightly altered a little. Then whose is stronger? Asked Naruto quickly. We don't know. Our clans haven't seen each other for a very long amount of years. Okay, anyway, now that you are part of our clan, you will be trained in our shadow jutsus. Also, I hope you do what Itachi told you to about learning every jutsu you see. Also, I know you may not agree on me about this, but I'm going to try to get you to lessen your grudge against Konoha. Naruto frowned at this. But they treated me horribly. Did all of them treat you horribly? Naruto briefly remembered about Kakashi and the Hokage. Also, the villagers just treated you badly, because they don't understand you. Try to get them to acknowledge you and then you might find that you actually not want to harm any of them. Now get ready, we're going to be leaving this village tomorrow. Prepare for your life's greatest training. 6 years later, a 12-year-old boy with blonde hair and whisker marks was seen hanging around with 2 of his close friends. Merrick and Ayana, the 2 children in the Shadow Clan whose age is the closest with Naruto, were talking with Naruto. Ayana, age 12, sat with her cousin Merrick and her friend Naruto. You know, Naruto-kun, there's always something I've been wondering about. Naruto looked curiously at her. What do you mean? We've traveled through so many villages and seen so much jutsus. You, Naruto-kun, had always asked them to teach you the jutsus. But for some strange reason, you could always perform the technique easily. I know that even though you have a photographic memory and can remember every jutsu and hand seals, but I don't. That is what caused you to master all those jutsu. Merrick, age 14, agreed with his cousin. I've always wondered about that too. It seems like a bloodline limit of some sort. You know, like with the Uchiha and the Sharingan. Naruto looked embarrassed at the 2. Well, I'm not sure myself, but it just seems so easy. You know, out of our clan, you have the biggest chance of becoming the heir to the Shadow Clan, announced Ayana. Really? What about everyone else? Asked Naruto. Everyone else thinks so too. We heard that they think that you're powerful enough to be the heir. The 3 children heard someone call them to go back to the hotel. Naruto, after he parted with Ayana and Merrick, went to a clearing away from the hotel. He sat down on the grass and sighed as he thought back to what Itachi had said to him the last time he had visited. Flashbackstart. Itachi Nissan, why did you bring me so far away from the clan? Asked Naruto curiously. I got something to tell you, Naruto, Itachi said seriously. Do you know the reason why the villagers back at Konoha hated you so much? Naruto shook his head slowly. They kept calling me a monster. Itachi explained about Kyuubi to Naruto. So in the end, the Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi into his child. And that child is you. Naruto was shocked at Itachi's words. I'm the Yondaime's son? Why would he do something so horrible to me? I think you made a mistake on that. Your father wanted the villagers to acknowledge you as a hero, the bearer of the Yoma Kyuubi. But the villagers didn't realize that, so they attacked you hoping to get rid of the Kyuubi. So it wasn't really their fault. No, but do you want to know what you can do to stop the villagers from treating you like they normally did? How? Asked Naruto anxiously. If you become the Hokage, then everyone will acknowledge you. But to become the Hokage, you have to be more powerful. Brother Itachi, Why are you telling me this? Asked Naruto all of a sudden. It's about time you know. And if you can get the Kyuubi to let you use his power, then you can be unstoppable. Flashbackfinish. Naruto frowned after he remembered what Itachi told him about the Kyuubi. If I could get the Kyuubi's power, then I could really be unstoppable. But how would I be able to do that? Guess I'll leave it to some other time in the future. Naruto went back to his room in the hotel and jumped onto the bed. There must be something that'll tell me why I can learn these jutsus so simply. No wait, of course, how could I forget about that? Naruto smiled happily as he remembered the scroll with the Uzumaki bloodline. I forgot all about that scroll. Naruto searched throughout his belongings and finally found the scroll he was searching for. Naruto took a big breath as he opened the scroll. Yes, screamed Naruto. I did it, to the Uzumaki heir. Since you have opened this scroll, I guess it is safe to presume that you have already taken the first step of mastering our family bloodline. As you may have suspected, our bloodline gives the Uzumakis perfect memories and the ability to learn any non-bloodline jutsu easily. If you have a very fast speed, and with our Uzumaki abilities, we could mimic our opponents and make it appear as though we are copying their every move. We Uzumakis have a couple of very advanced bloodline jutsus that will prove very useful. Take care to master them. But knowing that you are an Uzumaki, I know that it won't take you very long. Never forget that our family's bloodline is using our opponent's power against them. Every jutsu we have, everything about our bloodline is about using our opponents to defeat themselves. The stronger our opponent is, the stronger the damage from our jutsus will do back to them. Remember that our bloodline is powerful, but not unbeatable. Also, we may be able to use our opponent's power against them, but that may not matter if they are too powerful. Uzumaki Takuya. Naruto finished reading what was written on the first part of the scroll. Now I understand, so it really was because of my bloodline that I can master all those jutsus. Naruto looked at the list of the jutsu. He noticed that it considered 1 ninjutsu, 1 taijutsu, and 1 genjutsu technique. Ninjutsu, Uzu Kawarimi no Jutsu and ninjutsu similar to the Kawarimi no Jutsu, with just the difference of instead of switching with any objects and people, you switch with yourself. What happens is that when you perform the seals, your main body becomes immobile and will vanish like a bunchen when touched. In truth, once the jutsu is used, you will exit your body in a spirit form. When in spirit form, you will pass right through anything you touch. Once your main body is touched and had vanished, your spirit form will become real again, and you will be able to attack again. A hint to the future heir: if you time the time of when your body becomes hit along with your attack, you can catch your opponents by surprise and deal a considerable amount of damage to them. Note that if you attack your opponent the exact moment they attack your body, the damage you inflict to them will double. Taijutsu, Uzu Shadow Fist style, a taijutsu attack that is both offensive and defensive. This style of taijutsu focuses neither on strength nor speed. Instead, it is based on countering your opponent's taijutsu and rendering their attacks useless and exposing their weaknesses. Then strike while they are vulnerable. This attack is used to stop your opponent's attack and strike back with a forceful attack that allows you to follow up with more attacks. The more defense your opponent puts up to defend against your attacks, the more pain will be dealt. Genjutsu, Uzu Namori no Jutsu, and genjutsu technique that makes your opponent fall asleep and fall victim to whatever you have in store for them inside their mind. This technique is not quite effective, but it has one major advantage. The more your opponent tries to fight against this technique, the more they will fall victim to it. The stronger your opponent's defense is, the stronger the genjutsu will be against them. Note that this jutsu will be useless and just be a waste of chakra if used against someone who has no defense against genjutsu. Naruto frowned a bit after he read the jutsu. I was expecting something much more powerful, but I guess if it's in my family, I'll use it. Naruto memorized the seals and the form of fighting for the jutsus. Alright, now on to training, yelled Naruto. Meanwhile, in a place far away from Naruto, Itachi and Kisame were sitting in a ramen stand. So Itachi, why did you tell Naruto about the Kyuubi and that it wasn't the villagers' fault for how he was treated? Asked Kisame. Itachi laughed. There's actually a couple of reasons I did that. Itachi finished eating and paid the owner. First of all, I took a liking to the kid, and wanted him to know the truth. Second, is that I want him to become the Hokage. That way when he does, he will basically be in charge of the whole village. It will suit my goals more. Third, I'm kind of sick of the Akatsuki. All we do is be sent on pointless and simple missions. I think by the time Naruto grows up and can help me with my goal, I'll leave the Akatsuki and do something for myself. Well, I agree with you about the Akatsuki being a waste of time. We're not the only ones who think so too. I spoke with the other members and some share the same view as you. When the time comes, I'll recruit them then. I might need their help in what I'm going to do. What you going to do with the kid now? Naruto? Bring him back to Konoha and let him become a genin. Then have him work from there and start his goal of becoming the Hokage. Then shouldn't it be about time you go and pick him up? Itachi smiled and vanished as he ran toward where Naruto is. Kisame laughed and followed his friend at an even pace. Naruto-kun! Screamed a loud and feminine voice. Naruto, after he had just finished training his family jutsus, appeared in front of Ayana. Yes? I was training. Hadame-sensei wants to see you. Personally, I think he wants to give something to you. Naruto thanked Ayana and ran toward Hadame. He found him outside the hotel, with a strange look on his face. Hadame-sensei? Were you looking for me? Asked Naruto curiously. Yes, Naruto-kun, follow me. Naruto followed Hadame to the clearing Naruto was training in. Naruto-kun, you have turned 12 this year. Am I correct? Yep, so what is it? Well, Itachi and I had discussed and said that you would leave your clan and go back to Konoha when you are 12. You are to be a genin there. I just want to know, over these past 6 years, had I succeeded in causing you to stop you grudge against the villagers of Konoha? Well, I haven't completely forgiven them if that's what you're asking. But last year when we were in the village of Sand, and I met Gaara-san, I finally realized what it was like in another point of view. Also after brother Itachi came and told me the cause of the villagers' actions, I suppose I would be able to forgive them a bit. But I still think they were wrong for attacking me. But will you want to get your revenge against them? Not if they don't do anything to me from now on. Hadame looked glad after he heard that, and smiled happily. I'm glad, Naruto. Also, I have one more thing to talk to you about. Since you will be leaving the day after tomorrow, and this may be the last time I can talk to you privately, I have something I want you to have. Hadame took out a big scroll and opened it. This is OutClan's sacred treasure. The summoning contract with the Shadow Wolves. Sign your name here and also put your handprint in blood right underneath. Naruto did as he was told, and afterwards, Hadame closed back up the scroll. What now? Now whenever you want to summon a Shadow Wolf, perform these hand seals along with a bit of your blood. The type of Shadow Wolf and its ability will differ with the amount of chakra you use. Naruto was handed a scroll. He was told to read the scroll and memorize it. This scroll will tell you the different Shadow Wolves you can summon and what their abilities are. You should be able to remember everything with your memory, so there's no point of having you carry the scroll around. Naruto finished reading, and after making sure he memorized everything, he returned the scroll. Naruto, you have just been granted a very powerful power. Shadow Wolves are one of the more unique types of summoning, because they are not from the clan of wolves. It was rumored that the Shadow Wolves were once demons who had a change of heart and gave our clan the honor of being able to summon them. I hope you don't misuse the power that was just handed to you. Naruto nodded and then smiled mischievously. Hadame-sensei, since I will be leaving soon, don't you think we should have a last meal together? I suppose, Hadame said as he with a bit of worry in his voice. Okay, time for ramen. Naruto ran off yelling, ramen. Hadame was left chasing after the kid with a very worried look on his face. At the ramen stand, Naruto had just finished his 20th bowl and left for the hotel happily. Hadame sighed as he paid the extremely heavy bill. How does that kid eat so much? He asked to the owner. I have no idea, but I hope more people like him would show up. The stand owner said as he started laughing. Where does he fit all that food? If I had to pay for this food for 6 years, I would have gone bankrupt in less than a month. Thank God he doesn't eat that much when we made him try any other food. What is it about ramen that makes him eat so much? 2 days later, Itachi found Naruto still asleep in his room. Naruto's room was a mess with clothes scattered everywhere. There were a couple of feathery ornaments hanging on the walls. Itachi laughed silently as he saw Naruto sleeping on the bed with his upper torso hanging at the edge of the bed about to fall onto the floor. He still hasn't changed his sleeping habits. Itachi smirked evilly as he jumped to the top of the room and put chakra on his feet to stick to the ceiling. He walked so he was right next to Naruto. This should be interesting to watch. He took a feather from the wall ornament and slightly tickled Naruto's exposed stomach. Naruto woke up immediately afterwards and crashed onto the floor. "Ah, Itachi-Nisan, what did you do?" asked Naruto grumpily. Itachi smirked as an answer. "Get dressed, we have to leave soon. There's enough time for you to say your goodbyes if you hurry." Itachi left the room and woke up the rest of the clan in a more normal way than Naruto's. Naruto, Itachi, and the rest of the Shadow Clan stood in the lobby looking sadly at Naruto. Naruto sadly said his goodbyes and promised that he'll return one day, and when he does, he'll become the Hokage. Naruto received a couple of gifts from his closer friends and then he and Itachi left the village and traveled to Konoha. Naruto ran swiftly with his Onisan, Itachi, through the forests of Konoha. "So when I get to Konoha, I make sure to not use my full abilities, right?" Itachi spoke without hesitation. "Yes. Hide your true powers from anyone you meet unless you are in danger or during the Chunin exams. It might cause you problems if people knew your strengths, so I want you to become the dead last in the class. I understand that, but I just don't understand why I have to pretend. Make sure that you do, unless you want to attract the attention of everyone you meet. Listen, most of the people in the village don't even know you exist. If you go back to the village and act like a genius and an extremely strong shinobi, it's going to cause problems and suspicion." Naruto grinned a little as he thought about how he'll act when he gets to Konoha. "Okay, can't wait till I become the Hokage. Everyone's going to love me and respect me. Though I first have to gain everyone's respect for me first, and I have no idea how to do that. Guess I'll have to see what turns up." Naruto and Itachi arrived at the gates to Konoha. "Naruto, remember what I told you to do and say. Just go to the Hokage and say what I told you to, and remember not to mention my name. I'll meet you inside your house every now and then. Don't forget to become a genin." Itachi swiftly vanished and left Naruto standing alone by the main gates. "So long, Oni-san," said Naruto silently. Naruto walked to the guards at the gate and put on a stupid face. "Let me in, I have to go see the old man," yelled Naruto in an extremely loud voice. "Old man?" asked the guards after they put their hands off their ears. "Yep, old man Hokage." The guards frowned at that and became slightly angry. "Don't disrespect Hokage-sama, kid. I'm not disrespecting him. I'm going to be your next Hokage, so you better move aside and let your future Hokage pass." The guards looked very pissed and was about to attack Naruto when they heard some coughing behind them. They turned around and were surprised to see the Hokage behind them. "Hokage-sama," said the guards immediately. "Let that boy come in. I've already given him permission to be back in Konoha. Now come along," said the Hokage. The Hokage went back to the village with Naruto, leaving behind two very confused guards. The Hokage and Naruto walked a bit in Konoha until they reached an alley. "Baka, these guards are stupid," said the Hokage. Naruto vanished into a puff of smoke and the Hokage transformed back to Naruto. "Those guards can't even see past a simple genjutsu. If everyone tried that trick, Konoha will surely be destroyed easily." Naruto wandered around the village as he thought that Konoha hadn't changed one bit. He saw his favorite ramen stand still in the same place. "Ramen?" thought Naruto as his stomach growled. "I haven't eaten since 3 hours ago." Naruto went to the stand and sat down. "Hi, I want one of every type of ramen you have." The ramen stand owner looked at his curiously. "One of all? Are you sure you can fit all of that?" "Yep," Naruto said happily. "I love ramen." The owner cooked up a bowl of each type of ramen he had and Naruto ate every bowl. "That felt good," said Naruto happily. "You know, you remind me of this kid I once knew 6 years ago. He used to come to this ramen place and eat so much. He was such a nice kid too. Don't know whatever happened to him." Naruto paused a bit and stared at the owner. "Could it be?" he thought. "Could he really have cared about me? I missed that kid," said the owner sadly. "He was such a good customer and such a nice kid too. He just stopped coming to eat my ramen. I thought that he disliked my cooking. Never saw him again after that day 6 years ago. Sorry if I'm boring you with that story. But you just remind me too much of that kid." Naruto smiled kindly. "Well, if it'll help, I'm coming to this place for ramen every single time I can when I'm hungry." Naruto then left the stand happy that someone had cared about him all those years back. Naruto walked to the Hokage's tower and thought about how much the Hokage might have changed. Lost in his thoughts, he walked right into someone and knocked them both onto the floor. "Sorry, I wasn't looking at where I was going," Naruto said after he got up. He saw that the person he knocked down was a girl his age with dark blue hair and really weird eyes. Naruto helped the girl to her feet and apologized once again. The girl looked at the boy in front of her. She shook her head. It's not why your fault. IWW was too distracted T2. What's your name? Mine's Uzumaki Naruto. Nice to meet you. Naruto-kun. I'm Hyuga Hinata. Naruto smiled happily and asked her does she want to be his friend. Hinata blushed a bit and started twirling her fingers back and forth. She nodded for agreement and turned a deeper shade of red when Naruto cheered loudly. "I'll talk to you another time. I got to go see Sarutobi-sama. Bye Hinata-chan." Naruto left after he said goodbye, leaving Hinata still with a deep shade of red on her face. Bye Naruto-kun. Naruto finally arrived at the Hokage's tower and went inside. "Where is Hokage-sama?" asked Naruto politely to the lady inside the tower. The lady pointed to a room behind her and told Naruto to wait. She went into the room and came out a few minutes later signaling for Naruto to enter. Naruto saw the Hokage and broke into a smile. "Sarutobi-sama, remember me?" The Hokage looked at the young boy in front of him and smiled as he recognized him. "You have finally returned after all these years. Naruto-kun, I presume you want to be registered as a member of this village again?" Naruto nodded and said that he'll protect Konoha with his life now. The Hokage smiled and told Naruto that he can use his old house if he wants and will also be registered as a member of the village. "Tomorrow, go to the academy and apply for a genin. Here's the keys to your house, and I'll see you another time." Naruto thanked the Hokage and asked where Kakashi was. He was told that Kakashi was out on a mission and will be back in a couple of days. Naruto left soon afterwards. The Hokage smiled happily as he thought about Naruto. "Your legacy has returned, Yodem. Soon he will have to start to face against the destiny you have placed upon him." Naruto, after he left the Hokage, took a little detour into the forest that was nearby. He found a nice little clearing by a stream and sat down and rested a bit. "Kid, wake up, it's about time we had a talk." Naruto woke up with a start and stared at Saw with surprise that he was no longer in the clearing where he was resting before. He was now in a dark and damp tunnel that was filled with water up to his ankles. He walked toward the voice that was calling him before. Naruto's eyes opened in surprise as he saw a huge nine-tailed fox behind a locked gate. "Kyuubi," said Naruto. "Correct, kid, you're inside yourself right now. What do you want? Why don't you want to get your revenge against this village? These people deserve to be killed nice and painfully." "I don't like killing you, stupid fox," yelled Naruto angrily. "Oh really?" said the Kyuubi amused. "You don't know how much you're missing. Now, you want to be the Hokage, right? Yes, so what? It's not like you're going to help. After all, you did attack this village 12 years ago. You got a point there. And you're right about one thing and wrong about another. I will help you to become the Hokage, but I want something in return. And second, I did indeed attack this village, but not entirely by my will. I was blind with rage and had to destroy something. Konoha was just unfortunate that it was the closest place." Naruto shook his head in amusement. "Kyuubi no baka." Naruto laughed loudly. "I won't care about 12 years ago, but if you can help me become the Hokage, then I might listen to your terms. I can lend you my chakra and teach you my jutsus to help you in your goals. I will want nothing more than just one simple repayment. Give me blood. Let me see the fear and pain in your opponent's eyes as they know they will die, painfully. Just give me the pleasure of killing and I will give you power." Naruto didn't even blink and he immediately denied the offer. "No, I don't like killing, especially since Hatame-sensei doesn't want me to." "Are you sure you don't like killing?" "I can disagree with that," said Kyuubi laughing loudly. "We shall find out what kind of person you truly are." Naruto found himself back by the stream he was sleeping by. Did I really just have a talk with the Kyuubi? Should I accept his terms? I know Itachi Nissan would want me to, but I'm not even sure what type of person I am. Naruto went back to his house after a few more hours and went home to his house. "The same as always," said Naruto to himself. "I'm surprised it's still in such good shape. Even my ramen collection is still here. Strange, these are brand new. Naruto was getting into his room when he heard yells outside on the streets. Naruto looked outside the window and spotted a crowd of ninja running throughout the village. "Hey, what's going on?" yelled Naruto. "Mizuki has just went and stolen the scroll of seals. Help us find him before he leaves the country," yelled back a random ninja. Naruto shook with rage as he heard Mizuki's name. Damn him, that baka is still after the scroll. He'll pay for what he did to me all those years ago. Naruto vanished from his house and jumped from house to house looking for the traitor. "So kid, ready for some revenge?" asked a voice in Naruto's mind. "Kyuubi? Yes. You want revenge? Go and get your revenge." Naruto felt a burst of chakra from inside of him and the Kyuubi telling him he smelled Mizuki in the forest. Naruto ran toward Mizuki and soon caught up with him. "So, Mizuki, you're still after that scroll. Too bad you won't live long enough to use it." Mizuki turned around and saw a blonde boy who emitted an enormous amount of chakra. Mizuki removed one of his large shurikens and threw it at Naruto. Naruto laughed and vanished before the shuriken hit him. "What?" yelled Mizuki. "Time to die, baka," yelled Naruto from behind Mizuki. Mizuki turned around and his eyes opened wide in fear. Naruto smirked and slammed his hand inside Mizuki's chest. Mizuki screamed in pain as Naruto felt around inside his chest and felt his hand tighten around his heart. Naruto laughed loudly as Mizuki coughed up blood. "You bastard, are you sure you need your heart? You shouldn't even have it in the first place. Let me correct the mistake for you." Naruto pulled out Mizuki's still beating heart and dropped the lifeless corpse of his victim. "You know, Kyuubi, this is pleasing. I'll agree to your terms." Naruto laughed again as he crushed the object he still held in his hand. "Perfect. Since you did so well on your first kill, I'll give you a gift," said the Kyuubi happily. "You will now have access to what I like to call the Kyuubi's eyes. To activate them, just send me a thought and it will be accessed. The Kyuubi's eyes allows you to see time in the speed you wish it to. Only drawback is that even though you see time speed in a different speed, your speed will change with it. So the only thing that remains the same is your mind. So what's so good about it then? You're smart kid, so use your brains right now. If you slow down time so you can see every move your opponent makes and you train yourself to be exceptionally fast, then it will only help defeat your enemies even more. Another thing, the Kyuubi's eyes can let you see through most genjutsu and allow you to dispel simple genjutsu just by a simple thought. One more thing, the Kyuubi's eyes can tell if someone is lying or telling the truth just by staring at the person. Naruto, after he heard the Kyuubi explain, took a look at the seal of scrolls. "Let's see, last time, I only learned the first jutsu. Second jutsu, Kaden Shibari no Jutsu. Okay, this might be extremely useful jutsu, but it has a large limitation. Let's see, third jutsu, double soul unification. This might be helpful sometime." Naruto heard voices coming closer to him after he read those two jutsu. "Damn, this is not good, if they catch me." Naruto immediately vanished, and left behind the scroll of seals, Mizuki's corpse and blood scattered everywhere. The next day, Naruto woke up late and remembered that he had to go to the academy. He quickly dressed and eaten a quick meal of ramen and left the house. Naruto ran to the academy and into the classroom he was supposed to go into. "Sorry I'm late. My name's Uzumaki Naruto and I'm here to apply for Genin." The class looked at Naruto in surprise and the teacher, Iruka, smiled. "You're finally here, Naruto-kun. The Hokage told me that you would be arriving today, just didn't inform me the time. We're about to begin the test for Genin, so you're just on time. Sit down somewhere and wait until it's your turn." Naruto looked around for a seat and noticed an empty one next to Hinata. He sat down next to her and started up a conversation. "So Hinata-chan, how do you think you'll do on the test?" "I am not as sure. I hope I do well," Hinata said while playing with her fingers. Naruto smiled and told Hinata that he knows she will do well. "Why you are really think so, Naruto-kun? I know you real. If you don't do well for yourself then do it for me." Hinata blushed a little at hearing that. "I'll try my best." "Hey, did you hear about what happened to Mizuki-sensei?" asked a boy in front of them. "What happened?" asked another classmate. "I heard that he was trying to steal the scroll of seals and a curse on the scroll killed him." "Curse? There's a curse on those scrolls?" I don't know, but how else can you explain the Anbu finding Mizuki-sensei dead in the forest? Maybe another ninja came and killed him then left. I thought of that too, but the ninjas from our village would have brought him back to the village, and other ninjas from other countries wouldn't have interfered. Also, the way he was found was kind of disgusting too. The other guy looked at his friend in confusion. What do you mean disgusting? And what does that have to do with that curse you were talking about? Well, I heard from my dad that Mizuki-sensei was found dead. But the scary thing was that he didn't have his heart. What? He doesn't have a heart? Yeah, my guess is that the scroll had a curse and the curse exploded Mizuki-sensei's heart. That would solve the mystery of all the blood around him and also about how he died. Hinata got a little scared at hearing the story from the boys in front of her. She turned to look at Naruto and was surprised at the look Naruto was showing as he heard the boys talk. Naruto's eyes had narrowed and his eyes were no longer blue, but dark red with a black slit in the middle. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Asked Hinata a bit frightened. Naruto shook his head and looked back at Hinata with his face back to normal. Yes, Hinata-chan? Nothing. The rest of the day passed slowly while Naruto waited for his turn. Hinata and everyone else had already gone and passed the test. Naruto-kun, it's your turn, yelled Iruka loudly. Finally, thought Naruto. Naruto went inside the classroom that Iruka was in. Okay, Naruto, to pass the test, you have to create at least 3 bunchins. Naruto remembered what his brother told him and so Naruto created 3 poorly made bunchins. Iruka frowned a bit, and told Naruto that he had passed the test, but did the worst in the class. Then Iruka invited Naruto for a bowl of ramen after they left the academy. At the Ichiraku ramen stand, Naruto was told by Iruka about him doing so poorly in the exam. I don't understand, Naruto-kun. Hokage-sama had told me that you were gone and disappeared for 6 years. I thought that because you were still alive, your ninja skills would have improved a lot. Yet, you did horribly during the exam. Naruto almost choked on his ramen at hearing Iruka's words. He looked a bit shocked as he thought that maybe he had revealed his secret already. What do you mean, Iruka-sensei? I did my best today. I'm full now, bye. Naruto quickly left and ran home and left a confused Iruka with a bill of 16 bowls. Naruto hung upside down on a nearby tree outside the academy. How is this village so weak? He asked himself as he observed the entire village. This is pitiful. He sensed a normal amount of chakra heading his way and quickly shrouded himself in shadow. Eyes like Hinata-chan. Who is he? A Hyuga. Hyuga Neji was walking toward the training spot behind the academy, when he noticed a slight movement on a tree. Confused, the Hyuga activated the Bukagen and looked directly at Naruto. Naruto noticed this and remembered that the Bukagen can see through almost anything and quickly teleported away. Neji was even more surprised now as he saw the boy that was covered in shadows, simply melted into shadow and disappeared. Damn, Naruto cursed himself at his carelessness with the Hyuga boy. I just hope I left before he got a good look at my face. Naruto glanced around him and saw that he was inside the academy now. He quickly shrouded himself in shadows and leaned against the wall to have a quick conversation with Kyubi. Kyubi, you said you'll teach me some techniques, but I want to know what they are and when you're going to teach me. You are a greedy kid, aren't you? All you care about are new jutsu? Naruto laughed silently. I prefer to call it as being curious. I'll teach you when I feel you need to. In the meantime, start by mastering Kyubi's eyes. Even with your bloodline, it won't be an easy thing to do. Naruto smiled, closed his eyes for a while. Shouldn't be that hard to do, right Kyubi? Said Naruto as he opened his eyes slowly. Naruto's eyes were no longer bright blue, but now a deep crimson red with a black slit for pupils. Class starts in a few minutes, get ready. Naruto sat bored while he listened to Iruka talk about their new teams and them being genin. He looked around him and saw most of his fellow classmates had fallen asleep. Even the class brain, Sakura, was seen as she struggled to stay awake. Now, after you would be so kind as to wake up your fellow classmates, I will announce the teams, said Iruka. The class immediately went and woke up all the ones who had fallen asleep, as they were anxious to hear their team. Thank you. Now Team 1 will be. Naruto closed his eyes a while as he waited for his name to be called. Team 7 will be Naruto, Hinata, and Sasuke. After hearing his name being called, Naruto smiled happily as his only friend was on his team. Hinata on the other hand started blushing and Sasuke remained expressionless as usual. Team 8 will be Shino, Sakura, and Kiba. Team 9 will be Choji, Ino, and Shikamaru. Your Junin sensei will arrive momentarily. A few hours afterward, all the people from the classroom had left with their senseis except for 3. Naruto paced back and forth angry that their sensei was so late. Naruto-kun?" said a soft and timid voice. Naruto looked at Hinata and asked what the problem was. "Could YUP please stop walking back and forth? It's very distracting." Hinata blushed deeply after she said that. Naruto thought about her request and finally decided on something. Okay, Hinata-chan. I'll stop if you do something too. What is it? Asked Hinata nervously. Stop stuttering. That is very distracting too, and you would be a lot cuter if you stop. So do me that favor. Hinata blushed a deeper shade of red and started playing with her fingers. Why yes, Naruto-kun. A silver-haired man appeared at the door with a sheepish expression on his masked face. Sorry I'm late, everyone, but I was delayed by a herd of buffaloes. Naruto immediately called him a liar and then realized who he was talking to. Kakashi-sensei? Is that you? Naruto asked as he remembered one of the only 2 people who took care of him when he was still little. Team 7 sat on the rooftop of a random building as the 3 academy graduates were asked to introduce themselves. Just tell me your likes, dislikes, dreams, and what you expect to do as a ninja. Shouldn't we start with you, Kakashi-sensei? We have to at least know a bit about our teacher for the next few years we are genin. Also, it's been a long time since I've heard you speak, announced Naruto. Their sensei laughed and agreed with Naruto. Okay, everyone, my name is Hitaki Kakashi. I have many things I like, and few that I dislike. My dreams, I don't care to tell you about, and I don't have to tell you what I expect as a ninja, since I already am one. Naruto whispered to Hinata stating that all they learned from him was his name, which he had already known. Kakashi cleared his throat and pointed to Hinata. Now, your turn, miss. Hinata blushed and said in a timid voice, my name is Hyuga Hinata. I don't know what I like, other than one thing. Hinata blushed a deep shade after she had said that. I dislike fighting and my dream is that my father would accept me one day. I also don't know what to expect as a ninja later on. Naruto smiled as he noticed that Hinata had stopped her stuttering to a minimum. Good start, he thought as he realized that in a few more days, Hinata should be able to stop and speak normally soon. Kakashi next pointed to Naruto. Go on Naruto, what about you? What have you been doing these past few years? My name is Uzumaki Naruto. I like ramen, any kind of ramen is good. I think it's the best food in the whole world. What I dislike is how long it takes for the water to boil when cooking ramen. Kakashi was speechless as he wondered did all his student from all those years back cared for nothing other than ramen. My dream is to one day be the Hokage of this village, so everyone will acknowledge me for who I truly am. Kakashi smiled at hearing that and so did a Chunin who hid nearby listening to the conversation. Naruto thought for a while before he carefully said his next words. I expect to be a ninja who follows only one code. My code. I will be a ninja who will never take back his words, because that is my way of the shinobi. Kakashi and Iruka felt a strong feeling come up from within at hearing Naruto's last few words. Naruto, you have truly grown up, thought both ninjas. Kakashi stared into Naruto's eyes and saw glimpses of a person who had seen much and experienced much among the face of the one called, dead last. Now you, the one with the black hair, said Kakashi. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I don't like anything, but dislike lots of things. I have no dreams, but I have one ambition, to kill a certain man. My future as a ninja. I guess I will be, an avenger. A strange silence was left over after Sasuke finished speaking. Anyway, tomorrow we will have a test to decide either or not you are worthy to become genins. Meet me at Team 7 training grounds at 7. If you're late, you will regret it. Hinata looked confused. Kakashi sensei. We already took the graduation exam. Why do we have to take this new test? Naruto looked at Hinata and decided to explain. I'll answer this, sensei. Hinata-chan, what sensei means is that what we took in the academy was just a graduation exam. Either or not we become genins will depend on tomorrow's test. Kakashi nodded and told his team to meet him there tomorrow before he vanished out of sight. The next day, all 3 members of Team 7 met at Training Ground 7 with empty stomachs. The 3 of them patiently waited for first an hour, then another, and finally after 3 hours the 3 felt a bit frustrated. Sasuke remained motionless and silent, but he emitted a sense of anger to all who took notice. Hinata continued to sit silently on the ground, blushing slightly as she constantly glanced towards Naruto. Naruto, on the other hand, was getting frustrated for a whole other reason. Kyuubi no baka. Just when am I going to learn a new jutsu? Thought Naruto angrily. Every time I ask you, you either change the subject or tell me it'll be soon. Patience, brat. Call that your first lesson. That promise of a new jutsu will have to come later, I'm busy right now. Replied Kyuubi in the same tone as Naruto. Busy? What do you mean busy? How busy could you get inside of me? I'm only doing this because of you. Haven't you ever wondered why sometimes you act like the annoying brat you are now, the person who can never become the Hokage? And at other times, you act like a completely opposite person. Naruto looked confused as he asked Kyuubi what he means. You've never noticed that sometimes you become much more powerful than you are now, and act like a true ninja? Naruto shook his head slightly as he said no. That's the problem with you. Apparently you have a split personality of some sort. You may not notice it happening, but that doesn't mean I haven't. It seems that other side of you first started when I first spoke to you. So it's all your fault. You could say that, but I wouldn't call it a bad thing. According to what I've noticed, that other you appeared late at night or early in the morning. Both times is when you were not conscious enough to hold him back. According to a guess of mine, I say that other side of you is created due to the seal that houses me. The seal forces me to remain trapped here inside of you and not be able to do anything else. But you humans know too little, and already you start messing around with a force that is beyond even us demons. From what I know, the seal was created to hold me inside of you, but that does not mean that a body can hold 2 spirits. It is impossible for any human to house 2 spirits for long. That is why the other you was created. He is a mixture of both you and me, and I guess he will take over both of us once the time comes. But then that means that you and I will both disappear, right? Naruto asked fearfully. Yes, but not exactly. We would both still be alive, only as one being with the same thoughts. You sound so sure of yourself, but you said this was a guess. Maybe what you predicted won't happen. I may have said that this was just a hypothesis of mine, but it is based on facts that I have knowledge of. So what do we do now? I don't want to be stuck merged with you for the rest of my life. You don't have to if I can do what I'm attempting to do. I'm going to try something very risky and has a very low % of succeeding. But if it works, then we would remain as 2 separate beings and still be able to live inside you. You're contradicting yourself, Kyuubi no baka. You just told me that 2 spirits can't survive in the same body. Listen to me finish before you talk. It is true that 2 spirits cannot exist, but there are ways. For example, in Konoha there is a clan that has the ability to send their spirit into another person and control them from there. They are able to do that because they leave their own body behind. Basically their body acts as a medium which allows them to actually be inside another. I'm going to do a similar thing with us. I'm going to attempt to bind that other you and turn him into a medium so we can both survive inside of you. But to do that, I'll have to use chakra from both you and me to bind that other you. I guess it's okay, except that when Kakashi comes, we might have to do a field test that requires me to use chakra. Just leave me with enough to use jutsus and that'll be fine. As you wish, brat, but be warned, you're going to be fighting with 10% of your chakra only. So be careful on how you use it. One more thing, while I'm going to conduct the binding, you will find some changes in yourself. You'll be acting a bit like the other you for a while. So if you find yourself doing something which you may never have thought about, just know that you're just expressing your own feelings in a way you normally don't. Naruto nodded and felt himself weaken. Naruto fell to the ground from the sudden lack of strength. Sasuke and Hinata looked at Naruto in surprise as he fell to the ground. They both looked confused as Naruto slowly got back up with his face white and breathing heavily. What is wrong with that Dobi? Asked Sasuke silently to himself. Hinata ran towards Naruto to help him up. Naruto-kun, are you okay? Naruto smiled kindly at Hinata. Don't worry, it's nothing. Just something I have to go through on my own. I'll be fine later. But Naruto-kun, are you sure you're okay? I'll be here to help you if you need me, Hinata told Naruto as she blushed and turned to walk away. Naruto grabbed onto Hinata's arm as she turned and pulled her close to him in a hug. Arigato, Hinata-chan. I was born an orphan and it is rare for people to show me kindness. Hinata blushed an even deeper shade as she breathed in deeply. This is my chance to tell him how I feel, thought Hinata. Naruto-kun, I feel the same way as you. For years my family has treated me harshly because I'm the weakest of the C clan. But on the day I met you, I felt different, you treated me like a human. Hinata-chan, that was the first time you've ever said my name without stuttering. I'm proud of you, and would you do it for me to stop stuttering? Hinata nodded slowly as she attempted to try. I'll try Naruto-kun. I'll try for you. Naruto smiled and kissed Hinata. He smiled more as he saw her turn more red than she originally was. Don't worry, Hinata-chan, no matter what happens we'll get through it together. For the first time in my life, I have found my true special person. I have found the one I am willing to protect. Sasuke stared at his two teammates in shock. Are they acting like I don't exist? Thought Sasuke. We're right in the middle of a bridge and these two are expressing their love in the open? Also, they forgot I'm even here. Wow, Naruto, you're quite the ladies' man. I never thought you had it in you. A voice spoke loudly from behind the three teammates. Naruto and Hinata immediately separated and with their red faces they turned to face the voice that spoke. Kakashi-sensei, you're late, announced Sasuke with his back still faced away from his sensei. Sorry kids, I was lost on the road of life, responded Kakashi. He looked around at the unbelieving faces of Naruto and Hinata. Hey, Kit, your sensei got here at around the time you first fell. He was hiding after he came to watch his students, whispered Kyuubi silently to Naruto. Naruto looked surprised and confused at Kyuubi telling him this and more at Kyuubi calling him Kit. You lie, Kakashi-sensei. You were hiding behind us about 20 minutes ago. Kakashi's eyes lit up as he heard Naruto's outburst. Ah, it seems you alone have detected me. Now let's see if you can explain why I did that. Naruto looked dumbfounded as he closed his mouth. It is to test how strong our senses and our ability to look beneath the underneath. Those are two major aspects of a ninja and how we progress may result from it, said a smirking Sasuke. Correct Sasuke. Exactly as I would have said so myself, said Kakashi. A ninja must be alert at all times even when they are involved like you two were. Kakashi said as he looked at a blushing Naruto and Hinata. To look beneath the underneath is a ninja's responsibility. You have figured out the first part of my exam. But that was the easy part, now for the next. Kakashi said as he summoned 3 cage bunchins. Part 2 of your test is to fight and have every member of your team take out at least one of my clones before noon. Remember there are 3 clones and only those who take out the clones become genin. The real Kakashi vanished as he yelled the start of the exam. Quick as a flash, Naruto and Hinata hid together in the bushes as Sasuke jumped up high on a tree. At least they are good at hiding out of sight, thought the real Kakashi as he stood atop the highest tree in the area. Naruto was discussing his plans with Hinata and they decided on Hinata using her Bukagen to find a hidden Kakashi clone and Naruto used Cage Bunchin to lure him out. Next Naruto would distract him while Hinata goes to destroy the clone. The pair put their plan into action and it went well until the Bunchin appeared. Naruto wasn't able to keep up with the speed of the clone and ended up getting in the way of Hinata when she tried to attack. Retreat! Yelled Naruto as he saw that this wasn't going to work. His eyes went wide as the Kakashi clone started to attack Hinata. Naruto immediately vanished and appeared beside Hinata before Kakashi reached her. He swung his arm around her and a wave of shadow enveloped them. The Kakashi clone punched through the shadow but felt nothing. The real Kakashi looked in shock as he saw what had happened. What was that? He thought. I'm positive what I saw was pure shadow manipulation and a teleportation technique combined into one. But does Naruto know shadow manipulation? Only the Nara clan knows it in Konoha. It is impossible for an outsider to have shadow manipulation unless he has the blood of a shadow manipulator. This isn't good, thought Naruto as he wrapped him and Hinata in shadow. I revealed this ability to Hinata-chan and Kakashi-sensei. I should be happy that Hatame-sensei infused me with some of his blood in that weird shadow ritual thing. But to reveal my ability so early already. Itachi Nissan is not going to be happy. Arigato, Naruto-kun, said Hinata, still breathing hard. What was that thing you used? I'll tell you another time. For now, we have to find Sasuke. Now that Kakashi knows I can use Shadow, I can use it against him. But we will need Sasuke's help. The pair walked silently as they searched for Sasuke using Hinata's Bukagen. Sasuke at the moment was fighting with his own Kakashi clone. He had the upper hand as he caught Kakashi by surprise with his traps. Surprisingly, Kakashi used Kawarimi no Jutsu and escaped. Now, he was fighting hand-to-hand against his sensei and he hadn't managed to land a hit. Sasuke grinned as he thought up a plan. It may be risky, but if it works, then he'll be advanced to Genin. Sasuke dropped low and pulled out something from his pouch. Next he rolled over to a clearing nearby. He got up and watched the Kakashi clone chase after him, but immediately jumped back. Sasuke smiled as the clone touched the trap he had planted. While he rolled to where he currently was, he had laid down explosive notes and also tied a net that will be triggered by a wire when touched. And just as Sasuke had predicted, the clone had jumped back and triggered the net to land onto him. Sasuke faced the trapped clone and formed a series of seals. Kaden, Gukaku no Jutsu, yelled Sasuke as he breathed in a deep breath. He breathed out quickly and flames shot toward the Kakashi clone. Mission accomplished, thought Sasuke proudly. Sasuke hears laughter above him and hears his sensei tells him to look beneath the underneath. Sasuke's eyes opened wide as he realized that he hadn't destroyed the clone, it had just disappeared. Where did it go? He wondered frantically. Not above. To the side? No. Where is he? Below. Sasuke hears as a hand erupted from the ground and held onto his leg. Doden, Shinju Zanshu no Jutsu. The hand pulls Sasuke into the ground, leaving only his head to be seen. Sasuke struggled to escape from his imprisonment. The Kakashi clone laughed out loud. Ah, Sasuke-kun, that is useless. You better hope your teammates comes to help you, otherwise back to the academy you three go. The clone leaves the buried Sasuke and goes back into hiding. Naruto and Hinata walked back and happened to notice Sasuke's head on the ground. Naruto saw him and started laughing loudly. Hinata waited patiently as Naruto dug out Sasuke, still with a big smile on his face. Sasuke glared at Naruto and attempted to leave. Wait, said Hinata. Naruto-kun has a plan. Sasuke turned to Naruto and with a superior attitude said, "What makes you think I'll need to work together with you, Dobi?" Naruto glared back at Sasuke, and was about to attack when he remembered they only had a few minutes left. "We don't have time for this, my plan is our last chance." Sasuke nodded after realizing that they had already used up more than an hour of the original 2 hours they had. "Okay," said Naruto. "The plan is this, we use Hinata's Bukagen to find the closest clone. Then you surprise and distract him. And I'll jump in and use Kageme no Jutsu on the clone. Next we destroy them." Sasuke stared at Naruto in shock. "Did you say Kageme no Jutsu?" he asked. "Yes. Impossible. That's a technique only the Nara clan can use." "Wrong. That's a technique only the Shadow Nara clan can use." "I'll explain to you later, we're wasting precious time talking already." Hinata activated the Bukagen and located a clone near them. Perfect, they all thought. Sasuke rushed out and threw a kunai straight at the clone. Hinata got into her family's taijutsu style and waited for her chance to attack. The Kakashi clone jumped up high to dodge the kunai and landed in between Sasuke and Hinata. Sasuke rushed in and engaged Kakashi once again in taijutsu. Hinata hesitated for a few moments until she remembered her promise to Naruto. She ran towards Kakashi also and attacked him. Sasuke was in the air kicking and throwing punches on the clone's upper torso, while Hinata stayed on the ground trying to land a hit on the clone. The clone dodged them both for a while until it caught Sasuke's leg and swung him into Hinata, knocking them both away and Hinata unconscious. The clone went to go after the fallen girl when it realized it couldn't move. Kageme no Jutsu. Success, it hears from behind. "Sasuke, how's Hinata?" asks Naruto. Sasuke checked the unconscious girl and replied, "No major injuries, just knocked out from having me crash into her." Naruto smiled, "Good, then finish the job. We have about 2 minutes left." Sasuke looked at his comrade curiously. "Just do it." Hinata is knocked out and I'm running out of chakra. I can only use 10% of my chakra right now, and I'm nearing the end. Quickly attack so what we did wouldn't end in vain. Sasuke briefly smiled as he landed a hit upon the immobile clone. He felt happy for once, not because he was about to become a genin, but because he had smiled from his heart for the first time in too long. Kakashi jumped down from atop the tree and landed gracefully in front of the three children. Naruto had woken up Hinata and all three was now staring at their sensei with emotionless expressions. Apparently, only Sasuke managed to defeat one of my clones. Kakashi sighed sadly. Sorry Naruto-kun, but I have to say. Naruto and Hinata looked saddened at what they knew would be said. That, you all pass. Congratulations. Kakashi chuckled through his face mask at the confused and shocked faces of his pupils. This test is not to test how good you are in combat. Unless you are extremely powerful and surpass the Junin in power, there is no way you can hope to defeat them. The only other way you will even stand a chance is if you have been in battle and have learned the hard way. The first part of the test was to teach you to look beneath the underneath. You were to use that skill in the second part of the test. The second part of the test was meant to look like a test of strength and strategy. But in truth it is actually a test to test your teamwork. Why do you think all of you are put into a three-man team? In the past, I've received many academy graduates, but I have never passed a single team. That was because they all acted on their own. Let me teach you an old ninja saying, a rope of one strand is easily broken, but a rope of more strands is a force to be reckoned with. True strength comes from others and not from yourself, finished Kakashi with a distant and sad look on his face. Anyway, get yourself rested up, missions begins tomorrow, said Kakashi as he vanished into air. Naruto smiled once more as he realized that he was now officially a genin. Yes, Hinata, you heard that? We're genin. Naruto hugged Hinata again to the delight of the young girl. Sasuke too, smiled, nice plan Dobi, maybe you're not the dead last I thought you were. Good job, you too. He turned and started walking before he stopped and turned back to his two teammates. One more thing? Naruto and Hinata looked at Sasuke in confusion. They were wondering what else Sasuke was going to see. After all, he had done what no one has, though possible, he had complimented them. Next time, get a room. Sasuke left the training grounds, leaving behind two very red genins. Later on in the day, after Naruto walked Hinata home, he felt strength and a new form of power returned to him. All done kit, announced Kyuubi. I realized. I feel stronger now, but other than that, I don't know any other differences. Also, what will happen to us now? Asked Naruto. Haven't you realized that you're not acting like that annoying brat right now? Your personality has changed a bit. From humans, I guess they will call this as maturing. Also, that other you is now a portal between us. You can now freely use my chakra separately when yours runs out, or you can still just ask me. Due to that fact, your chakra control is now fixed. You should be able to mold chakra much easier now. That's it? I was expecting more. Of course there is. You think I would go through all that work for something little like that? I can now freely possess your body. What? Exclaimed Naruto in shock. Not to worry, kid, I can only possess you when you are either unconscious or very low on chakra. Don't worry about me destroying Konoha now. I told you before that I was just attacking the village because I was angry and it was the closest. I'm all right now as long as you keep your end of the bargain. Deal. One more thing, why the change of titles? From brat to kid, I'm not one of your children. Never said you were, just that you're developing fox-like qualities. Or did you not notice your improved senses? We are kin now, and I would never call family members, no matter how distant or abnormal they are, a brat. Since you have fox qualities, you are now able to access level 2 of the Kyuubi eyes. Level 2? Wondered Naruto curiously. Level 1 allowed you to see time in a slower speed, cancel simple genjutsu, and find out if a person is lying or not. Level 2 will allow you to perform jutsus without the aid of seals. Naruto gasped in surprise. Is that even possible? I thought the seals are the guides to directing the chakra in ninjutsu. This is what I meant when I said humans meddle in a force that they have little knowledge over. Jutsus aren't only used seals. You were correct when you said that they were guides. You were only wrong about one thing. They are guides to the user, not to the chakra. We demons have knowledge of a whole new level of ninjutsu, and we know that ninjutsu doesn't only have to be used by seals. What you need is something that can bypass the need of seals and use ninjutsu directly. That is what the Kyuubi eyes can do. As long as you have used the jutsu once, you can use it again without physically doing seals. Just do the seals in your mind and include a fox seal in the beginning and the end. I thought you said you didn't have to do seals. But with your way, you still do the seals, only in your mind. We demons don't have to, you on the other hand, is just a human. You haven't reached that level yet. One more thing, to do the seals in your mind, you need to have the Kyuubi eyes activated and have a good concentration. If you mess up, you'll have to start over. Also, the jutsu will require more chakra to use. So I suggest you stick with hand seals unless you are in trouble and can't use your hands to form seals. Naruto smiled at that, and ended the conversation with Kyuubi seeing that it was finished. He walked towards his house when he heard someone following him due to his improved hearing. He activated his Kyuubi eyes and looked towards where his shadower was. Kakashi-sensei, why are you following me? Naruto asked. Kakashi, surprised that his student noticed him, was in even more shock at his eyes. Well, I was off to bed but I heard a herd of cows come rampaging down here. Naruto's face faltered as he heard his teacher's lame excuse. That's weird, he just flashed red, thought Naruto. Kyuubi eyes lets you see either or not someone is lying. If they flash a color. The more outrageous the lies, the darker the flash will be. While the more truth there is, the lighter the flash will be. Thank you, thought back Naruto. You're lying, Kakashi-sensei. Kakashi laughed at the obvious reply. Fine, Naruto-kun. I wanted to find out how you have shadow manipulation. Only the Nara clan has it in Konoha. But I remember that there was one more clan that had it. They left Konoha a long time ago, so their name is lost to us. But I find it curious that you will have shadow manipulation when there is no chance you come from either clan. What happened and where have you been all those years you were away from us? Naruto looked saddened as he knew he wouldn't be able to tell Kakashi the truth. Sorry, Kakashi-sensei. I can't tell you the truth right about now. I promise once my secret is out, I'll explain. Before that, I just want you to know that I mean Konoha no harm. I love this village, and no longer bear much vengeance to the occupants of the village. I'm willing to forgive and forget the villagers and all others who have hated me. All I want now is to follow my dream. And that is to become the Hokage and have everyone acknowledge me. I can also tell you that the clan leader of the Shadow Clan infused me with his family blood, allowing me to use their jutsu. So I'm basically a shadow manipulator by blood now, if not by name or heritage. Naruto shrouded himself in darkness and vanished into the shadows. Kakashi stood in the middle of the streets as he deciphered all he could from his talk with Naruto. Oh well, thought Kakashi. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow, I'll save this till next time. Kakashi took out his book and started reading as he walked on. That's all for now. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments.